I do just want to use the last bit of time I have with you to move on to another issue, because I thought Matt Canavan's address to the National Press Club was pretty strong, especially what he had to say about how this country needs to exploit its energy resources. Have a look.
So to recapture our sovereign capability, we've got to end this net zero madness. We've got to invest again in all types of energy, including coal and oil and gas and nuclear.
He's spot on, isn't he, Pauline?
Well, it's wonderful, but they say they're going to get out of the net zero, but they're still signed up to the Paris Agreement under the coalition government. You know, these things that I've been saying for years, right from day dot. So Matt Canavan's just had this shining light shine on him. How's he going to go in the cabinet? Because with the Liberal Party, his coalition partners are going to shut him down. So how much authority is Matt Canavan going to have in making that happen?
We will see, Pauline. To be fair to Matt Canavan,
yes, we will.
To be fair to Matt Canavan, I think he's been saying this all along, and it's part of the reason he's been outside of shadow cabinet. But now he's the leader of the Nationals, and therefore central.
He was Resources Minister at one time there, Chris, and I tell you, and that's why the Northern Endeavour was shut down off Darwin many years ago under Matt Canavan. Ask him about that one.
I will indeed when I get the chance, but he did his time on the backbench. He's back now, and he's saying the same sorts of things that you've been saying for quite a while on this issue. Thanks for joining us, Pauline. I appreciate it. Pauline Hanson there, live from Brisbane.
What unfolded during this discussion wasn't just another political conversation about energy policy. What Australians witnessed was something far more revealing. A growing fracture inside the coalition itself over the future of net zero, energy independence, and whether politicians are finally prepared to say what many Australians have been thinking for years. Because when Matt Canavan stood at the National Press Club and declared that Australia needed to end this net zero madness and reinvest in coal, oil, gas, and nuclear, it instantly cut through the carefully managed political language we've become used to hearing from Canberra. No vague slogans, no polished talking points, just a direct challenge to the direction both major parties have been pushing for years. And that's exactly why Pauline Hanson's response mattered. Because she didn't simply praise Matt Canavan. In fact, she immediately exposed the contradiction sitting right at the heart of the coalition's energy position. She pointed out that politicians can talk tough about ending net zero all they want, but if they remain signed onto the Paris Agreement, then nothing fundamentally changes. And that's the part many voters are becoming increasingly frustrated by. This is the tension now exploding inside Conservative politics. On one side, you have politicians speaking openly about energy security, affordability, manufacturing, and sovereign capability. On the other side, you still have party leadership tied to international climate commitments that critics argue are driving energy prices higher while weakening Australia's traditional industries. And Pauline Hanson made one thing very clear. She believes Matt Canavan may be saying the right things, but she's questioning whether the Liberal Party establishment will ever actually allow those ideas to become policy. That's a massive issue because this debate is no longer just about climate targets. It's about political control. Who actually decides policy inside these parties? The elected representatives speaking bluntly to voters, or the broader party machinery trying to balance media pressure, corporate expectations, and international agreements? Notice how Pauline framed it. She said Canavan has suddenly had a shining light put on him, but then immediately asked the real question: how much authority will he actually have? In other words, will he be allowed to challenge the status quo, or will the coalition eventually shut him down the same way outspoken Conservatives have often been sidelined in the past? And that's where this conversation became far bigger than Matt Canavan himself. Because many Australians are starting to notice a pattern in politics. Politicians campaign one way, speak differently behind closed doors, and then govern cautiously once pressure starts building. Tough rhetoric during interviews, compromise when policy decisions arrive, strong words about affordability while power prices continue climbing. That frustration is growing because ordinary Australians are dealing with real-world consequences. Higher electricity bills, cost of living pressure, concerns about industry shutting down, concerns about energy reliability. Meanwhile, inside Canberra, debates often revolve around targets, summits, and international commitments that feel disconnected from everyday life. And this is why comments like Canavan's generate such a strong reaction. whether people agree with him or not. Many voters are hungry for politicians who sound direct, certain, and willing to challenge policies that have become politically untouchable. But Pauline Hanson's warning also exposed another reality. Saying the right thing publicly and actually changing government direction are two very different things. Because if the coalition still supports the Paris Agreement, if party leadership still backs net zero frameworks, then critics argue the overall direction remains exactly the same, only the messaging changes. And that's the uncomfortable question hanging over conservative politics right now. Is this a genuine shift in policy, or simply frustration boiling over from backbenchers who know public anger over energy prices is rising? What made this exchange so revealing was how openly these divisions are now being discussed. Not behind closed doors, not through anonymous leaks, but live, publicly, and directly in front of voters. And Australians are paying attention because energy policy now affects almost every part of daily life. Industry, jobs, household bills, economic growth, national security. It's no longer some distant political debate. It's personal. So here's the real question. Can politicians truly oppose net zero while remaining committed to international climate agreements? Is the coalition genuinely shifting its position on energy? Or are voters simply hearing stronger rhetoric without real change behind it? And perhaps the biggest question of all, are Australians becoming more concerned about climate targets, or more concerned about the economic cost attached to them? Let me know what you think in the comments below. And if you want more direct breakdowns of what's really happening inside Australian politics without the spin, the slogans, or the media filtering, make sure to like, subscribe, and share.